All right, today we're working on my weed eater. It's an Echo PAS 225, and this probably applies to several other models, I would imagine. What we're having a problem with is if it runs for a little while, it loses power and kind of shuts off, acts like it doesn't have any power, doesn't want to run. So kind of started looking around at it and noticed that when you start pumping the primer ball, you don't get any action really, and it builds pressure up in this fuel tank and this vent. My son was running it, and this vent blew off. This is just a little tube that comes out of the tank that allows pressure release through this valve and without letting anything into the tank. So when this thing clogs up and this gas tank forms a vacuum, after a little bit of running, it stops providing fuel to the carburetor. So what we did was ran out to the Home Depot, and I got this part number. I'm hoping this is going to be the right kit I need. It's a fuel system kit. We're going to replace the lines, the filter that's inside. There's a filter that goes inside and hangs down in the gas. We're just going to open this kit up and see if we can't fix this little weed eater so we can do some maintenance on this property. All right, so this is what's in the kit. Basically, you get your fuel filter that drops down in the tank, and the two hoses that go up to the carburetor, the primer bowl, and then you got the vent right there. It comes with two, so this actually fits two different machines. This one is a bigger diameter grommet that goes into the fuel tank right here, and this one is the one we need. So what we got to do, we have to take this line off, pop this grommet out, and hopefully this the filter should slide right up out of there, and then you just pop them back in. All right, so take my needle nose. The black one is on the right, just remember that. Pull these down. Let's see if I might need to get a flathead, pry that up. Primer bulb, and it looks like that's the gas cap gasket. I replaced this not too long ago on this machine, so I'm just going to hold that off into my toolbox until I need it. So can't get that grommet popped up out of there. Bad boy just come right up out, just like that. That's it. That's my old one. That hose is really soft, so I'd imagine that may be sucking itself shut too. Maybe filter doesn't really look too dirty, but this kit was about $28. I thought it was a little bit pricey, but didn't realize it came with two. So we'll just save this in case we ever need this one for another machine, or we'll rob parts off of this to fix this one maybe in the future if we need to. And so simple as you kind of want to get your dirt off of there. Drop that down the tank if you don't have to. But if a little bit goes in, and that's what the filter's job is, right? Slide that thing down in there. And try to work your grommet in without spilling gas all over the tailgate of your El Camino. May have to put a little bit of lube on that grommet. Take a little Vaseline and pull this back up a little bit. I'm just going to coat my... You gotta glob it on like I'm doing, but just a light coating just to lubricate that deal up so we can slide around a little better. hopefully. Oh man, I made it too dang slick. Well, that's not easy. Well. That thing's tight going in, let me tell you. I really don't want to put my screwdriver down in there because I'm scared I'll tear it. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. Walk it around. My little old fingers aren't strong enough. That's a fight. That is a fight. Almost got it. Ooh, I got some of it in. That backside doesn't want to go. There we go. That's a good boy. All right. Let's get that thing seated in there. And hook your hoses back up. Alright, so now we've got our hoses hooked back up, the vents up here where it's supposed to be. We had cut some of this old one off at one point. I think the line cracked and it was leaking or something. But this thing should prime up now. Yeah, see. May have to replace this primer bulb. We got a priming issue. I see a little gas dripping off the back of this. So we got more problems than we thought we had. Gotta figure out what is going on. Carburetor. See, it's coming out of the bottom right there. More problems than we thought. This thing's pretty old. I think I've had this thing for about 6 or 7 years maybe. It's just time for a tune-up. We're going to take this carburetor off so I can get to this plate. I can't get to it from the gas tank being in the way. So it may just be a gasket deal. Get that out of the way. So now we can get to our carburetor. The problem is coming out of there. It's probably an accelerator pump of some sort, if I had my guess. I'm not a small engine expert, but I can figure this stuff out. Hopefully it'll help you figure it out. So what we're going to do, we'll take a little screwdriver and pop this off. A little dirty. That's alright. It's put in a lot of work.
There's some strings up here.
So drop that screw down there. Don't go any further, please. Alright. Now let's see what's up under here. Alright, a little gasket. Since the gas is coming out of here, I'm assuming this diaphragm is bad. This gas was coming out of that little tiny hole right there. Alright, so this diaphragm appears to be good. We took it off, put it back on, still wouldn't pump, so I pulled the primer bulb block off. And it looks like this little port right here is slammed full of something, so we're going to try to clean that out, blow all these ports out with carb cleaner, and we'll report back and see if we can get this thing to prime. I think it sucked up some dirt or part of that hose or something, clogged that port up. That may have been why it blew that vent off. This right here may have been why it blew that off and was building up pressure, but now we're not getting it won't prime. So, you know, old dirt buildup, all that stuff. A tiny little piece of dirt in these little small carburetors can shut your whole program down. So we're gonna try to clean it up real quick and see if it works. This tiny little screen, I pulled that out of that little hole right there, and I blew through there, and I don't think anything does go through that little brass one. So we're just blowing through these holes with a carb cleaner, and we'll put it back together and see if it'll run. We ended up having a block in this primer. So I pulled the carburetor off, I pulled these 4 screws out, and then there's one screw behind this bulb. You can see it almost through there. But when I was pushing this primer bulb like that, it was not filling the bulb up with fuel. So I was able to take that apart and clean it out, and it works now. So my fuel looks a little rosy. I'm not sure what's going on with my fuel, but my spark plug's a little fouled. I just cranked it up, and it runs pretty good, but it bogged out once. I had to clean the plugs. I think we may have some bad gas too. So basically we fixed it. Probably could have fixed it with just cleaning everything out, because I think we had a clog internally which was building pressure, and which ultimately shot this off, soaked Caleb with gas. And but my hoses are really soft and mushy though, and it was time for a new fuel line kit anyway. So it's pretty simple stuff. Just pay attention to the little screws you're taking apart. mean, you can do it all with a flat head and a Phillips head, little carburetor cleaner, and that was it. I don't know if you learned anything out of this or not, but if you did, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Catch me in the next one. Peace.